Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Now, the United States and dozens of other countries have pledged to work together to tackle the illegal wildlife trade and treat it as a serious crime following a conference in London. Trading in endangered wildlife such as elephant tusks, rhino horns and tiger bones is worth an estimated $17 billion a year, and it's pushing hundreds of species to the brink of extinction. And a ritual reports from the conference.
Training day for officers on the front line. Border guards and wildlife officials from Kenya and Tanzania are being taught to identify animal parts, which are often disguised or concealed in cargo or vehicles. All of these items were confiscated by the Kenya Wildlife Service. There's much work to do.
Only 50% of those that are convened here for this training this week could recognize elephant ivory. Only one of our 40 participants could recognize pangolin scales.
Such stark gaps in the global fight against the illegal wildlife trade were top of the agenda at the London conference. Speaking to several heads of state from across the world, Britain's Prince William, a passionate conservationist, said he recognized that law enforcement resources are already stretched.
But I am asking you to see the connections, to acknowledge that the steps you take to tackle illegal wildlife crime could make it easier to halt the shipments of guns and drugs passing through your borders.
It is an industry that is booming. Illegal ivory trade activity has more than doubled since 2007. Over 1,300 rhino were killed in 2015 alone. Asian tigers have seen a 95% decline in population. In the last year, more than 100 rangers have died in their line of work. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said that Washington would give $90 million to programs that fight illegal wildlife traffickers.
Their criminal acts harm communities, degrade institutions, destabilize our environment, and funnel billions of dollars to those who perpetuate evil in the world.
It's not just big mammals at risk. Peruvian authorities say over 12,000 critically endangered frogs have been taken from Lake Titicaca in the last 5 years to make a juice that some believe has medicinal properties, despite no scientific evidence. But it's not all bad news. At the beginning of this year, China closed its domestic ivory market.
This market was both stimulating demand for ivory and also enabling illegal ivory to be laundered through this legal trade. But that same issue still exists for big cats. There's a trade in leopard bone products, large-scale commercial trade.
White says existing UN conventions already offer firepower for tackling the illegal wildlife trade, but they are not being used effectively. In the closing declaration, conference attendees pledged to work together to tackle the illegal wildlife trade as a serious and organized crime. Campaigners say the real test is how quickly they will act on those words. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News at the London conference on the illegal wildlife trade.
At least 850,000 farmers have benefited from the Anchor Borrowers Program, a federal government initiative targeted at increasing the output of smallholder farmers. According to the Apex Bank, the program is allowing for considerable investment in agriculture. In our next report, stakeholders highlight the impact of the program so far at a town hall meeting in Jigawa State in north-central Nigeria.
It's an exhibition of agricultural commodities in Dutse, the Jigawa State capital, where the Ministers of Information, Agriculture, Water Resources and the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment are attending a town hall meeting to assess the impact of the Anchor Borrowers Program. On display are various crops and livestock as well as machines belonging to smallholder farmers under the program. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, who chairs the event, says Nigeria is making progress in the area of rice sufficiency through deliberate efforts to support farmers.
Today, I can assure you that if you go to any of our rice milling factories, you will find queues some as long as 2 kilometers of trailers waiting to discharge and upload paddy rice.
For the Minister of Agriculture, the success of the scheme lies in turning interest rates, which was hitherto a limiting factor for business, to a major advantage for beneficiaries.
How can a farmer grow rice if he or she borrows at 25% and processes and puts in the market to compare with what they are importing from Thailand and India, when in those countries the interest rate is 3%? Nobody was prepared to listen. So the Anchor Borrowers program came down with 9%. The first outing was 40 billion naira to farmers. That money within 1 year turned over paddy was 294 billion. Just 40 billion in, 294 billion out.
Another aspect of boosting productivity in agriculture is processing of raw materials. The program also encourages investment in that area. Established by the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2015, the Anchor Borrowers program, according to the Apex Bank, is about investing in agriculture.
The Anchor Borrower program was launched in November 17, 2015 by Mr. President, and since then, the Central Bank has supported over 850,000 smallholder farmers. The Central Bank has disbursed over 160 billion naira.
The town hall meeting also gives indigents and farmers an opportunity to engage with the authorities and raise issues of concern. The Anchor Borrowers program links smallholder farmers to processors and supports farmers through farm inputs and financial aid, with the overall aim of increasing food production.
It's time now for a short break, and we'd like to remind you to visit our website. It's channelstv.com for news and programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. And still to come, 3 strangers on a train, each of them with a mission to fulfill in Johannesburg. We'll take a look at Vaya, a coming-of-age film based on real stories of South Africans, the Homeless Writers Project. Well, that story after the break.